Hi, this is Mike from BandLab, and in this video, we're going to make a new jack swing beat in BandLab's free online DAW. You can open this project yourself with the link in the video description, and if you find this guide useful, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be the first to know when new videos drop. I begin by setting the project tempo to 115 beats per minute, and the project key to B minor. Funky, swung, programmed beats are the foundation of new jack swing, so I'm going to start with the drum beat. I add a new virtual instrument track and set it to drums, drum pads, 808 kit. I make a new MIDI clip by right-clicking the instrument track and selecting Create Region. I reduce this clip to a bar in length by using the handle at the bottom right-hand corner. I add claps on the second and fourth beat of the bar, and kicks on the first beat and in between the third and fourth beat. I then add closed hats on eighth notes. What gives new jack swing its signature rhythmic feel is 16th note swing. This means that any 16th notes are played slightly behind the grid. I want to add a swung 16th note hat, so I turn off BandLab's snap to grid mode by clicking the magnet icon. I add a note between the final two hats. How far behind the grid the note is determines how swung the beat feels. This swing is essential to the feel of the overall track, so I make sure I'm happy with the timing before I move on. I turn snap to grid back on and change the second closed hat to an open hat. I want the kicks and claps to be quieter because I'm going to layer them up with some other sounds. I select the kicks and claps and turn their velocity down to 94. I turn the track down to -3.5 dB, so I have more headroom to add other elements. New jack swing often features breakbeat samples, and I'd like to use a breakbeat style snare. There's a specific snare sound that I'm after that I can find in BandLab's 90s Jungle Pack. I open BandLab's Sounds and enter Jungle into the text search field. I open the 90s Jungle Pack and set the instrument filter to drum. J155 Break Sovereign 4-bar is the sound I'm after. I want to play that snare on its own, so I create a new sampler track and drag the sample onto the first sample pad. I move the sample start and the sample endpoints to around the snare so that when the sample is played, just the snare is heard. I add snares on the second and fourth beats. Then I turn off snap to grid and add swung snares on the 8th and 10th 16th notes. I turn the swung snares velocity down to 87. I turn the track down to -4.8 dB. I also want a kick layer to give the 808 kick more punch in the mids, so I add another instrument track and set it to drums, drum pads, Neptunian kit. I layer up the kicks and turn this track down to -16.2 dB. Now I've got a 1-bar drum sequence going, I want to add some music. I duplicate out the existing MIDI drum clips to make a 2-bar sequence. To duplicate clips or MIDI notes in BandLab, highlight them, then hold Option on Mac or Alt on Windows and drag them over. I want a smooth, synthy sound to make some chords, so I add another instrument track, and this time set it to keyboards, synth pads, New Age synth. I turn this track down to -23 dB. I program in a chord progression that plays B minor 7, E major, F sharp minor. Next, I want a bass line. There aren't going to be many instruments in this track, and the bass line is going to be providing a lot of its energy, so I want a sound that will punch through the mix. I add a new instrument track and select Basses, Synth Basses, Classic Synth Bass. I turn this track down to -6.3 dB. I sequence a simple bass line that plays B, A, B, A, F sharp. What I have so far will make for a smooth chorus, but I want to get more funky and stripped back in the verse. I duplicate out the beats and sequence a new bass line that plays the same notes as the chorus bass, but with a different rhythm. The second B note has a velocity of 54 to make the fast notes sound more natural. I'm not going to add any other significant instrumentation to the verse section, which leaves lots of room for vocal harmonies, another important element in New Jack Swing. Despite wanting to leave room for potential vocals, I'd like to make the chorus section sound more glossy. I decide to add some layers to the pad sound to flesh it out. I duplicate the pad by right-clicking the track header and selecting Duplicate Track. I set this track's instrument to keyboards, pianos, Rhodes. This addition emphasizes the chord's attack. I create another layer, this time setting it to keyboards, synth pads, shadow bells. I turn this track up to -12 dB. This sound further develops the chord's attack. I add one final layer, this time selecting keyboards, synth pads, shadow soft. I set this track to -23 dB. This gives the part a high-end sheen that fills out the sound. For the arrangement, I start with the 16-bar verse. Halfway through, the original pad sound is added, playing a sustained B minor 7. On bar 17, we switch into the 16-bar chorus, with all the pad layers playing, giving us a bigger sound. In the second half of the chorus, we revert to the verse bass line to keep things interesting. After the chorus, we have another verse and chorus, followed by a bridge. This features the sustained B minor 7 pad and a simplified version of the bass line. Then there's a final chorus. You can fork this project and make your own version of it using the link in the video description. Have fun!